chair. And it was a season that really it promised so much, and yet is going to end up in such disappointment. Really, a poor season really at the office. As you can see from our overall kind of evolution, I suppose it's been inconsistent. Like we started off 16th, then we went up to 15th, then we got up to 10th, 5th, down to 12th, up to 3rd, and now it's probably going to be 8th. I think is going to be our ending up total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the end of our 7th season in charge. There has been of course inroads made, but the problem is not enough are being made, and we don't seem the 2 years we've been in Europe, we've really struggled to keep up our consistency in the league, and we haven't really even excelled in the European stuff, which is disappointing to say the least. Since last time, which was the 2-1 defeat to Shakhtar, despite them only having like 3 shots in the game or something, we've played a fair amount of games. We've actually played 9 to be exact, which we picked up 5 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats. It isn't too bad, but when you're pushing for Champions League, it's not quite good enough really. Started that off with a 2-1 win with Stoke. Bonazzoli, who's actually been really good come the end of the season, and Saibi with the goals. Zimmer Betiki for them. We managed to beat Wolves away from home at Molyneux 1-0. The only goal of the game coming through Emiliano Para, the centre back, from a corner in the 14th minute. We managed to hold on for a 1-0 win there. We did lose though 1-0 at home to Southampton, which was really, I think, the killer blow in terms of our Champions League hopes, because they're, I think, in the last Champions League spot at the moment, and we could have overtaken them, I think, if we'd won this game, but instead we lost and just gave them more momentum. Losing 1-0, Nicolas Castillo in the 72nd minute scoring the only goal of the game. It was a tight game, and they just nicked it. Managed to beat West Ham away from home 3-1 despite conceding in the first minute through Theo Walcott. Bonazzoli with a brace before half time, and Maxi Meyer scoring in the 89th minute to seal the game off. Winston Reid also got sent off fairly late on for West Ham. We beat Wigan even 3-2, which is a good result. Torgeir Borven even, who's actually been doing very well for Wigan. He scored in the 5th minute, give them the lead. Bonazzoli, though, did score a hat-trick before half-time, 1 from the penalty spot, 2 from open play, for Phil Glass pulling back in the 71st minute, but we did manage to hold on for a 3-2 win. Then, though, travelled to the Etihad, where we lost 3-0. It actually wasn't as bad as it looks. We were in the game for large portions. We did have our opportunities. I think we had 2 clear-cut chances yet to their 4. But they just converted better. Memphis Depay scoring twice, and Lucas Moura also on the score sheet in added on time, which was a bit of a stinker, really. Two late enough goals there, giving them a 3-0 win. We drew 1-1 at home to Everton. These are the results that really kind of led us from being not much hope of Champions League to absolutely no hope, and possibly definitely no hope of Europa League either. Drew 1-1 at home to Everton. Maxi Meyer scoring for us in the 31st minute. Matos with the equaliser in the 69th. He seems to have a fantastic record against us, despite being what seems like a fairly bang average player. He always seems to score against us. He lost 1-0 away at QPR, which is just shocking. Mick Ryan scoring in the 2nd minute. He's a regen, I think, on loan from Everton. And we didn't really recover. We never recovered, as it shows, that we didn't score a goal. And it was a disappointing 1-0 defeat. Last game, since the previous game, though, to the one we're live from today away at Arsenal, was a 4-0 win at home to Newcastle. 2 for Roberto Pereira and 2 for Jack Grealish. So 2 of the more experienced guys getting on the score sheet this time around. And finally we kind of win. It's a bit odd this year. I don't know why the reasoning is behind it, but half the games seem to be on the last Sunday. Well, I think all the games were meant to be on the last Sunday where everyone plays together, which was meant to be, I think, the 22nd of May or something. But then half the games got switched to the 26th of May, so I'm not really sure what that was. I think it was only because one game needed to be switched, but they put 4 or 5. They switched 4 or 5 to make it pretty balanced. I think it was something to do with Spurs. I don't know what was wrong with them though. But anyway, so we're playing on a Wednesday night as the last game of the season away at the Emirates. Arsenal aren't going to get relegated, but it's been a shocking season for them, 16th place. As you can see here, Balance's out for us with a pulled hamstring. But that's not actually going to matter because we're going to play a fully We're going to play like a developmental 11, really. So this is the reason why we're in 8th spot with a game left. And here's the thing: technically, we could still finish in the Europa League spots. We're not going to get European football though, because Nottingham Forest have they played the FA Cup final? No, it's on the 29th. Hmm. No, but they're playing Liverpool in the FA Cup final. But it doesn't really matter whether they lose or not, or win or not, because Liverpool are in third. So if they lose to them, they'll still get Europa League football. So it's not, so 7th place isn't going to get Europa League this year. As you can see, we're both us and Everton are both 3 points behind Spurs and Southampton. So really, what we have to hope for is that Everton lose, we win, and Southampton lose. So Everton and Southampton to lose today, and we win. And possibly, if we want to get 5th, Everton, Southampton, and Spurs to lose by 2 or 3, and us to win by I think 2, would give us pretty good. Would give us 5th place. But as you can see, 4th is out of the question, and really, like it's extremely long shot sort of stuff. Have a look at the overall team stats. Like we are up there. We finished. We're 6th in the overall goal scores with 68. Problem is the goals conceded, which is mid-table. I think it might be 11th best, which just isn't quite good enough really. Conceding 55 in 37 games is not great at all. If you have a look at our individual player stats, it's not been great to be honest. Bonazzoli's been the really lone hand with 25 goals, 18 in the league. Which has been a pretty stellar effort really from the 24-year-old. He's tipped to possibly win the Young Player of the Year. I don't think he'll quite win it, but he's put in a decent enough effort at doing so. Boye's got 14. He's really stagnated through coming to the end of the season. Grealish has only got 11, so he had 9 for a long time, and then scored 2 in that last game. Apart from that, he had a poor back end of the season. Meyer only with 10, Saiby 9, Byrne 8, and Pereira 6. Top provider wise, Grealish got 15, Meyer 12, Saiby, Byrne, and Pereira 9 apiece. And average rating wise, again excluding Manfred Guts even, Atlanta 7.28, Saiby 7.26, Grealish 7.21, Paris 7.21, and Robertson 7.18. But anyway, we're playing a pretty inexperienced team today. A team that hasn't played that many games. I suppose we should just head on into it. I don't think there's anything else to really show you. Actually, I'll show it to you at the end of this game, if I remember to. Anyway, the team we've gone for today, we've had a little bit of a change in shape since last time, which is really quite a simple change in shape. It's just taking the attacking midfielder and putting him in as defensive midfielder. But not really a rocket science move. It seems to, like, as you can see, I made that change right after the Shakhtar game. As you can see, there's been mixed fortunes. 5 wins, 1 draw, and 3 defeats within 9 games. Isn't too bad, but it's not great. So we've got Alder Alino in goal, the young keeper. Robertson at left back, a bit of stability. Manfred Gutsa and Dede. The only reason we're playing Dede is because he is retiring. This is his last game of professional football. So I thought it would be a fitting tribute to just give him a game. Considering he hasn't really made the last 2 seasons, he's really been on the fringes, but not even on the fringes, just blatant backup. But he's going to get a game today. Bradbury at right back, give him more games. Bravo, bit of stability as anchorman. Tillmans as the box-to-box, and Paulinho, who you might have forgotten about now. He was a signing this year. He hasn't really played that much at all, which I think he's a bit disappointed about. He's getting a little unhappy. 4.3 million's worth. Hasn't really proved much though. Cow at left wing, Robbie Byrne on the right, and Lucas Mendes up front. Lucas Mendes still yet to score for the club. Despite being like such a good-looking striker, like he looks a decent striker. And he's had a fair amount of shots, like 8 overall last year and 14 this year. So in 22 games overall, he hasn't scored a goal. So let's hope he can do it today. On the bench, we've got Timo Horn, Gino Peruzzi, Roberto Pereira, Lucas Boya, David Santon, Jason Hughes, and Maxi Marr. So it's much more experienced substitute defence, apart from Jason Hughes, who I think I showed you in the last episode. He's one of our under 18s. 17 years old, looks a really promising striker. His overall potential ability has gone down, but he still could be a leading Premier Division striker in the future, which I'm trying to hold him to. Fairly ambitious. Could be the next Jeff Hurst. Similar type of player to Bonazzoli as well, which is good to see. We might get him tutored up by Bonazzoli in the coming future. He needs a squad number, so he's going to get number 27. And we'll get on into this game. Yeah, it says here, doesn't it? Yeah, it can move up to 5th if results go their way. It is a long shot. Just tell them that the fans have been great for us all year, so kind of try and give them something to go away with. A pretty big trip to the Emirates, I suppose, to finish the season, which is nice for the fans, especially if we can make it a winning trip. Give them a little bit of something going into next year, because it has been overall a disappointing season because of last year's kind of heroics in finishing 3rd place. It was always going to be tough to really match that, as Everton have gone 1-0 up, so already the kind of procession starts. And really, I really don't think we'll win today because we've got such an inexperienced team out. It's really just giving them games on a pretty big stage, like in the Emirates, even though Arsenal aren't as good in this save, or don't seem to be as good in this save. Nonetheless, you can try your. It's always a big trip going to the Emirates. That's what I'm trying to say. So, first 15 minutes have been fairly light, to be honest. And as you can see from the little later scores thing coming through, it just doesn't. It's getting from bad to worse, really. And they're going to score. Yeah, Jack Wilshere, Alderweireld just doesn't bother to move, does he? Why would you? That's way too mainstream stuff. If you're gonna move as a keeper, and it kind of just sums up the whole season in disappointment. Really, Alderweireld with a not even a great first initial save, and then he just doesn't move, which leaves Wilshere with an empty net to prod the ball home, and we're 1-0 behind. And this is compounded by the fact that Everton are already 3-0 up and Spurs are 1-0 up, so it's a real shocker at the moment. It was a slim hope as it was, but I think, oh, for fuck's sake, 2-0 down. And I'm getting a bit fed up of it, especially on live commentaries. Our last 2 live commentaries were 6-0 defeat to Man U, and then a really piss-take defeat to Shakhtar last time out, where we had around 70 shots to their 2, and we lost the game 2-1. We're already 2-0 down here today against Arsenal. We haven't had a shot. Would you fucking do something? Like, I know I'm probably being harsh because it is such an inexperienced team, but it's so bad. This is against an Arsenal team who are 16th and obviously pretty shit this year. They've not performed whatsoever. They've still got some decent players. Got Jack Wilshere and Ramsey still there, but nonetheless, it's been a real shocking performance in this first half. One that we'll have to try and rectify. Roberto Pereira is going to come on the right wing. This could be the last time you see Roberto Pereira. I'm not so sure. He's getting on. He's 30 years old or something, and really this year I felt he was flagging. He had a very poor year for his standards. And for the standards I expect of him, he wasn't great. He's still valued though at around 20 million. So if we could get like 20 million out of him as a 30-year-old, I think you definitely just have to take it. If we still haven't had a shot, and it's 66 minutes in, I'm so sorry about this, but it's just shocking play, isn't it? I don't know. Like it's been a real kind of crisis of confidence this year, as Mayer's going to come on for him, and Jason Hughes is actually going to get a run out up front. Lucas Mendes still continuing his drought, unless he can get a goal here. Pereira, Mendes, he's going to be offside, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, Jesus. You wouldn't think we'd actually get a goal, would you? That's just typical FM for you, isn't it? Just when you think you might have a glimpse. Holy shit. 3-0. I know I shouldn't be getting angry, but it's just hard. It's just hard. This year has been a really disappointing year. Seems to be a little bit of a trend on this year's Football Manager. They kind of give you they give you one good season, but you're not. Well, I haven't been able yet to sustain form, as that's going to be offside. Yeah, I haven't been able to sustain form from season to season. I've been able to sustain form within seasons, but definitely not from kind of season upon season. Jason Hughes, that's a nice little ball to Maxi Meyer. That is selfish play. He had guys running in for him to try and put the ball in the back of the net, and he just doesn't planning giving it to any of them. Barini's going to go all the way. Possibly find Sanchez, Mitrovic. Could say Balls or Alino. It's really been a poor outing though for the fans on their last day of the season. No, I thought that was going to be 4. Yeah, should have been actually. Welbeck hit the bar, and then Mitrovic had an open goal at what seems like an open goal that he should have scored from. But nonetheless, we've lost game 3 now. We have come out of the Emirates without a shot on target, and it really kind of sums up the season from my end. Like, we're going to finish 8th. Despite Everton winning 4-2, they still won't get a Europa League space because Southampton did manage to get a draw. So that's how it finishes. Manchester United have won the league. That was confirmed before today. It's disappointing, it really has been. Have a look at the overall league in the end. Manchester United with 83 points, Chelsea and then Liverpool both on 80. Got a bit of a gap to Man City, who get the last Champions League spot with 68 points. Spurs with 65, Southampton 63, Everton 62, and ourselves 59. Before Newcastle at 51. So we were quite a bit ahead of 9th, but not ahead of, or only 8th even. As you can see here, Bourvin wins this Golden Boot. I don't really know who he is, and he doesn't look great, but he just seems to have had a miracle year. 25 league goals. Origi, of course, a former Villarreal with 22. Costa ends up at 19. Depay 19, and Oxlade-Chamberlain 19. Januzaj wins the top assist with 21. Hazard's 19. Sterling 16. Eriksen and Alioune 14. Average rating was Hazard 7.71. Costa 7.67. Oxlade-Chamberlain 7.67. Depay 7.45 and Origi 7.44. So not actually a great year for average ratings wise. And we'll just go through all of these. Still after a elusive first goal is Lucas Mendes. I don't know where it's coming from, to be honest. So that's that for this year. I doubt our finances aren't great at the moment. We've got 13 million in the bank, but we're projected to lose 6 million, so I don't think we'll get many, or we'll get a good budget. Actually, have we been given one? I'm not so sure. Were we given one in that big list of things? I don't think we were. Sometimes it comes through immediately. Doesn't seem to have, but it will come out soon. At the moment, we've got 10 million in the bank, I think, but we're a bit negative on the wages, but that can be easily adjusted. But you might see some kind of wholesale changes. I don't know. I might kind of get rid of a few, I suppose, legends, or not legends, but kind of long time stayers. Try and replace them with a bit of younger talent, people like Saibi and. Who else could we look at who's really good and quite young at the moment? Robbie Byrne, of course. Cow, I think he's still got a good potential on him. He could become a really good player in the future, which is good to see. I might even experiment with trying to make Grealish into more of a behind the striker guy and advanced playmaker, because I do plan on moving back to the 4-2-3-1 from this tactic. I prefer this one. I'm not gonna lie, I do prefer it, but we'll have to see what we can do. And hopefully some of these younger guys can really step up next year. They should be able to, but they really need to. We might have to sell a few of the older guys who might want to move on for Champions League or Europa League football. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. I'll see you guys later.